How embarrassing. My mic is off. Dang it. Thanks, Eugenia. That's so dumb. I've been talking away to myself for the last 2 minutes. Okay, let's try that again. So as I was saying, this week I am doing a WordPress plugin showdown. Last week I didn't have any ideas, so I kind of just went to all the AI plugins and I installed the AI agent by SiteGround, which didn't go very well, and then I installed AI Engine. And then during that, a couple of other plugins were suggested to me. So I'm going to be testing those today with a little bit more of a quote unquote scientific method. The one is the Cross AI MCP Manager, which I think Ajendra suggested to me. It's by Deepak Gupta, so I'm going to install that, check that out. The other one is one called Albert. The developer actually, Mark Jansen, I got into a conversation with him about something on social media. I think he asked something about the WordPress MCP adapter or something. I can't remember. And he has his AI plugin, so I'm going to test that out. And then the third one was something that my buddy Andrew, who joined us on the stream last week, he suggested, I think it was Vibe WP or WP Vibe, something like that. Now I'm not going to find it. There it is. WP Vibe. He suggested that one. So this one seems to be a little bit more of a popular one. It's by the folks from SeedProd. We have a bunch of... Oh, it's a side bulky plugin. Okay, there you go. So they've got a bunch of installs already. They've got 4.8 out of 5-star reviews. So this is like a kind of a popular one right now. Albert also has a couple of reviews. Got 3 5-star reviews by the looks of it. He's got about he's only got about 10 active installations, so it's new and not so sorry about that, Kajendra. Hopefully you can hear everything now. It's new but not massively used. And then Across AI also looks brand new. It's at version 0.3.0, also about 10 users, and doesn't have any reviews. So I'm going to add my reviews to all 3 of these plugins, maybe. I don't know. As Cameron points out, interesting they're publishing it under SeedProd rather than Automotive. Look, I can't comment on why they do things. Maybe SeedProd acquired this plugin and that's why they're doing it. I have no idea. I don't get involved in business when it comes to WordPress. I do know, and I've just seen this publicly, that some of the things that some of the plugins do are considered anti-patterns. I don't get involved in those kind of things. I solely exist to discover things and test them out and share them with you all, and then I leave it up to you to make decisions on whether to support those companies or not. But these are the 3 that have been shared with me over time, so these are the 3 that I'm going to be testing out today. Let me just update these plugins because I don't know how I ended up with the same plugin 3 times. It's kind of embarrassing. So it's AI Butler and Vibe AI. So my goal today is I want to see, number 1, how easy these plugins are to set up and get configured and working. Ideally without having to read any documentation. I remember last week with the AI engine one, there's some documentation that I had to read to get things going. And there was some sort of inaccuracies in the documentation. So I'm going to try and see how far I can get without reading documentation. I think there will need to be some documentation reading somewhere along the line, but I just want to kind of get a feel for how that is going. Then I'm going to so I've got this post that I'm busy writing on my own blog about static sites, which is just my thoughts on the subject, opinions on my own. So I'm going to take that sort of initial brain dump idea that I had, and I'm going to stick it into my local WordPress site, and then I'm going to ask the AI tools to do a couple of things. So the one thing I wanted to do, I was thinking, was maybe to get it to flesh out the article a bit more. I I mean, that's going to be kind of a factor of what the AI does. So I'll be using the same AI API keys across all of these things. But I was thinking of maybe doing that. And then I'm going to ask it to generate a post title and featured image for the post. Again, this will be what this generates won't be tested, but how well it sort of, how quickly it does it. Maybe we'll time it something. I don't know. We'll see. And then what I want to do is I actually want to point my local Claude agent to the plugin code and get a feel for whether the plugin is sending data to external services. I saw something somewhere recently. I think it was another automotive plugin. I think it was Novamira, I think it's called. There was a question around the fact that they're storing application passwords encrypted on their server, which some people consider to be problematic. So I just want to get a feel for what data is being sent from this plugin back to whoever owns the plugin. So that's kind of the 3 or 4. I think I'll take out the flesh out article a bit more because that's really dependent on the AI, not the MCP tools and all that kind of thing. So I just want to see if all of these things are possible based on what the plugin sort of generates. So that's the plan for today. So I have this AI Showdown site set up. It's a very simple WordPress Studio install. I'm going to start by just grabbing the post content and just sticking it into an empty post. So I'm just going to save that. And then I'm going to start by installing the first plugin. So let's start with the more popular one. Showdown Hunger Games. I mean, I haven't actually watched the Hunger Games, so I can't comment on that. But let's start with WP Vibe. So I'm going to search for WP Vibe in my plugin page, and let's go. So I literally just want to install it, not read anything about it, and just see what it does, how it works, what the overall experience is. I'm going to try and take 15-20 minutes per plugin because I want to kind of wrap this up in an hour, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that plugin is installed. We've activated it. I do like it when plugins don't give me setup wizards when I activate them. I'm very against a plugin taking over my screen when I activate it. I prefer just a little message to say, hey, when you get started, click here. Give me the option to go ahead and activate things. Okay, it's adding a top level menu. That's typically to be expected these days, I guess. So here we go. So I need to connect to WP Vibe. Okay, so I need to connect to their service. So install the plugin, add the MCP server to your AI agent, paste this URL into Claude or any MCP. Okay, so let's see per client setup instructions. I figured this is where documentation would come in. So I would assume that link would take me straight to this page, not the previous one. But anyway, okay, personal issue. I don't like it when sites default to dark mode. My machine is set up for light mode because I prefer light mode. So please don't give me dark mode by default. I'm going to make a note of that. So let's start with Vibe AI. Don't default your site to dark mode. Okay, faster setup, have your AI install it. Okay, this is pretty cool. Set up the WP Vibe server. The server URL is blah. Use this client's native way of adding Okay. So it looks like I need to set this up to configure it to the WP Vibe URL, which I don't like, I'll be honest. I was hoping this would just push me straight to my local site. So let's see. Okay, so let's copy. I have to, okay, so I'm going to grab all of this. Let's open up Claude. And let's paste that. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on Sonnet because I don't need super complex tasks today. Okay, let's see what that's. While that's doing that, I'm going to open up another window over here. Cameron says, I understand why you don't like wizards, but I used to get so many support requests and bad reviews for one of my plugins because they couldn't find the settings page because there was no settings page. It didn't need one. I ended up having to make a landing page it redirected to on activation. It took doing that to make it stop. That kind of sucks, to be honest. I'm the kind of guy, if something is not needed and you're going to give me a bad review and a bad support request because you expect something, I'm going to push back on that personally. But I guess that's the benefit I have, is I'm not earning money from these plugins, so I can get away with it. Even if I was earning, I would still push back. Maybe, now that I think about it, maybe the person that I am now would, but 10 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have. So I guess it depends. I'll be honest, that does suck. It sucks that users can be so entitled when expecting something that isn't actually needed. But I get it. I think my years of plugin development, I want to say 2016 to 2020, taught me that when it comes to a free plugin, the user's not always right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to point my little agent to the plugin that I'm busy looking at. Plugins, 5 AI. Mate, I'm not going to comment on that. They're your users, not mine. Yes. That's a conversation we have over a beer sometime at WordCamp Europe. I will say this. Most free users are very entitled and very opinionated. And my typical attitude is that unless you're paying me money, I don't care. There's an Afrikaans saying in South Africa which directly translates to "sorry to hear about your crap," and that's the general attitude I have when it comes to free plugins that are on the WordPress plugin directory that are completely free. If the plugin does what I have intended it to do, the way I have intended it to do it, and you don't like that, that's a you problem. If you want things to be different, shut up and pay me. Is my opinion. I actually wrote a blog post about that a while ago. Oh yes, okay. So what I want to do here is I want to generate a report of any data that this plugin sends to its external servers. Cool. So that's doing that. Claude should be done here. So let's see what Claude has come up with. So Claude says, I can't do this one directly. Setting up a remote MCP server and tracking OAuth happens in the Claude Desktop's own connector settings, which live outside the sandbox workspace I have access to. I have no tool to edit the app's connector. Here's how you do it. Settings, connectors, add custom connector, enter that as a URL. Okay, so that was a fail. So let's see if that makes sense. So settings, connectors, add custom connector. So Claude, settings. I had this problem last week. I couldn't find the add custom connector part. I'm probably going to have to do this myself manually or some nonsense. These are the connected ones. This takes you to here. How do I add a custom connector in Claude these days? I had this problem last week. I wanted to add a connector and I couldn't. I wonder if I go, that's a marketplace. If anybody knows how to add, it used to be that you would be able to edit the config. That's one way to do it in an MCP server. I don't see a way to add a custom connector in Claude anymore. It's like it's been taken away. Seems like you're using the team or enterprise plan. I'm actually, I shouldn't be. I should be using my own plan. Oh, it looks like I am using. Okay, that's weird. Let me log out of here. And let me do this. I should be on my personal plan. Let's go through the login process. So that's my account. Let me try it this way. Okay, I'm going to have to open up my email inbox off screen because I don't want you guys reading all my emails. So give me a second while I check that out. So now it's giving me a signing button, not a verification code. So let's try the sign in button. Okay. Okay, let me. No, this is not what I want either. No. Okay, let me log into Claude on my personal plan on the website and see what happens there. Just doing this off screen quickly. I don't even know if this is working. Okay. I know right now you're not seeing. Okay, so that's logged into my Pro account. So now I'm going to bring this screen back so you can see it's now logged into my Pro account here. So there's my Jonathan Pro account. So now let's see if this will take me to the right place. Yeah. That's asking me to log in here again. I don't want. Please work properly. Okay. I hate this. Okay, this is now picking up the thing I'm doing over here, but I don't want that. I want this to work. Now, how do I get past this? Let's try it again. I do miss the days where we just had usernames and passwords. I really do. Why does it keep asking me to log in when I'm already logged in? Ugh. Okay, now what am I supposed to do? I do not like this. Yeah, I don't want to create a new account though. I want to use my personal account. I'll be honest, I've had this issue before with Claude and it drives me up the wall and I wish they would fix it. Let me try this. Let's see if that will work. Okay, now will this be on my... No, it's not my automatic account, I want my Pro account. Okay, there we go. Now it's my Pro account. You can't, if you can see that. Let me drag it out the way here. Let me just move this so people can see things. Okay, so there you can see it's my Pro account. So now let's see if I can do what I need to do. So Claude settings. That looks a little bit different. Ah, now I can add a connector. Okay, so it's thank you Across AI. I didn't know that it was limited to team or enterprise options. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so now we can add a custom connector. All right. So let's go back, close this down. I don't need this anymore. Where was I? Oh, yes. So we need that. So we'll call this WP vibe. Continue. Okay, so that seems to have worked. That's interesting. I wonder how the connection happens. I suppose it's doing its own OAuth. So it says always required. Each user signs in through that flow. Okay, cool. Register one automatically. Claude registers OAuth clients. Okay. Seems to be okay. So let's add that. Okay, so now we need to connect. So now we're actually connecting to an external service, which means I need to sign in. Okay, moving on to the next one. I don't like the fact that I have to sign into an external service. I really don't like that. I just want to use MCP on my local WordPress site. So let's just see here. The plugin pushes no site data in its own. Let's just read here. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's pushing any data. The plugin is the server, not the client. MCP.vibe.ai holds an application password and pools across 44 REST routes. So it looks like what it does is I connect to their server. Their server is connected to my site, probably via the plugin. And I talk to the MCP tools on their server, and then that data gets pushed back to my plugin. I don't like that setup. It's just a personal thing. I want it to work directly with my site. Otherwise, what's the point of installing the plugin? So thanks, but no thanks. Moving on. Let's try out Across AI MCP Manager. So I'm going to go back here. Where am I? Oh, I don't have it open. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm installing this plugin right now. And let's try the next one. Shortest review I think I've ever done. Okay. So let's install that. While we're doing that, let's delete the connector. Okay, it's activated. Okay. So I don't like wizards. That's just a personal preference. So I'm going to make a note of that. So let's go. I prefer to be able to trigger this myself, but we'll move on from there. I do like the fact the default server is there. I see that you are using the default MCP adapter, which is a positive. I would consider, yeah. If okay, so this is a personal preference. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but if this was me doing this, I would make the default MCP server of my plugin just across / MCP server. Makes it super simple for the user to remember. The fact that you're using the default MCP adapter server, like if I didn't know what MCP adapter was, I'd be like, what's MCP adapter? Why is the server name so long? So that's just a personal thing. I like the fact that you allow me to create a new server. That's very cool. Like I can customize it to what I want. So that's what I'm going to do. So my server name is going to be WordPress AI Showdown. I like the fact that I can do this. This is very cool. Because now I can create a custom MCP server for my site, which is very nice. And I can change the namespace. Let's call it Jonathan Bossinger, whatever. It's very cool. I like that. This I do like, I will be honest. So actually, let's do it this way. Let's go WP AI like that. And then WordPress AI Showdown. That's perfect. Let's go continue. I don't know why I need a version number there. I know why the code needs a version number, but I shouldn't have to worry about version numbering. I don't care about the version number of the server. Just a bit of feedback on that one. Only administrators can reach the server until you add an access rule below. Okay, that's fine. I'm happy with administrators. I quite like the fact that you're adding this kind of thing. It's very cool, but I'm happy with administrators only. 350 abilities. Wow, that's a lot of abilities. Oh, that's a separate abilities manager. Ooh, okay, interesting. So I can actually just install this myself. I do like that. I do like the fact that you're not shipping the abilities with the MCP plugin. That's very cool. You can continue with uninstalling. The wizard will fall back to the 3 abilities WordPress ships with, or install the plugin to unlock the full set. Okay, so I'm going to install the plugin, but I like the fact that you've separated. I like the fact that you just got the MCP sort of set up. So if I have my own custom abilities, I can just use your MCP implementation. That's very cool. But if I want your abilities, I can go ahead and install those as well. What should AI be able to do? This is very cool. I'm liking this. Okay, it would be nice if I could just like somehow have a list of them all here and then tick them on and off without jumping to this. Just saying. I'm going to just enable them all for now. Server is disabled. While disabled, the server rejects, even from administrators. Enable it to start accepting. That's cool. I like having it disabled by default. That's very cool. Very, very good. I like it. Ooh, how do I want to connect? Okay, cool. I think we'll go with the one-click OAuth via connectors for this one. So let's do that and continue. Okay, so one-click OAuth needs a cross AI. I expected that. I like the fact that you give me the option and then you tell me it costs money and it requires the server. I have no problem with trying the npm option. I like the fact, because I know why OAuth needs to be an external thing. So I'm going to go back and do the MCP client option. I like the fact that you give all the different options. That's very cool. And the fact that you explain why it. So the one thing that I would add is like to explain why it needs the pro version, because OAuth is difficult to do just internally. So I would explain that a little bit better. I know why that is the case, but totally cool that you have all the different options. So I'm going to go with the MCP client option. Nice, you've got the steps in the wizard. Very cool. So Claude Desktop, generate the password. That's cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. So that's the password. Nice. All right, so I'm going to copy that config. Now this is cool for someone like me who knows how these things work. So let's go back into Claude. Let's go to developer, edit config file, open with Visual Code. And then do I have any MCP servers here? Yeah, there they are. I'm probably going to have to clean up the JSON a little bit. Yeah, that's what I thought. But that's fine. For a power user like me, this is perfect. This is actually something that somebody was commenting about the MCP adapters, that it doesn't have like user-facing, pro user-facing documentation like this in the actual thing. All right, so that's that. Let's close that. I need to. I wonder if can I just see here, copy and paste this. Okay, the one thing I would add is I'm pretty sure this is still the case. In Claude these days, you need to restart Claude Desktop once you edit the config. So I would just add that to the notes somewhere. It's one of the most annoying things about Claude. Is only once you've restarted it after editing the config file do the custom connectors pitch up. Let's just check that. Claude, there we go. Where are we? Where are my settings? Claude settings, there we go. Developer, okay, there we go. There's the Showdown, it's running. Awesome. Awesome, that all works. I love it. Very, very cool. I like this. This is very, very cool for someone like me, and the fact that you've got all these options. I like the fact that you're including the application password in the process. I very much like that. Very cool. Good job. Okay. And let's go to the server dashboard. Okay, so here's the dashboard. Very cool. Oh, look at that. It looks like it belongs to a WordPress site. Good job. Okay, so now let's see what abilities do we have. Okay, so here's all the abilities. We have a whole bunch of different fun things. Very granular control. I like it. Okay, let's see what it can do about my post. So let's go back to chat. And let's make sure this connector is... where is it? Doesn't it come up here anymore? Oh, there it is. Why doesn't that come up? Saying it has no tools available. That's weird. Why is that? Okay, let's just go back here. Let's see what the notices are. That's fine. So there's abilities. There was a thing for tools as well somewhere, I'm sure. Get back to the... How do I get back to the dashboard? Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, it's a server dashboard. Okay. Okay, so 3 added installs. Oh, okay. I thought I enabled all of these. Service disabled. Oh, why is that? Okay, defaults. Oh, there's AI shot. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Dang it. Okay. Let's go overview. Okay, so the server is disabled. The tools are not active by default. Okay, that's fine. But I have exposed them. Does that mean they're enabled as tools? I don't know. Let's go back to tools. So do I have to... Okay, I really thought by adding all of those abilities, they would be available as tools. It would be cool if there was a way to... So let's do this. I'm going to open up this over here, Studio. Gonna open up WordPress demo. And I'm going to stick this in here. I'll show you now why I'm doing this. This code, I think. No, hang on. Oops. No, MCP adjustment. Okay, and then I'm gonna graph this out. Okay. Is it VS Code MCP adjustment? I can't for the life of me remember. Let me just check the docs. VS Code MCP. Dot VS Code. Oh, there's no dot in front of the MCP. That's a problem. Rename. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because VS Code has this cool thing where it picks up the server, and then when you click Start in the thing, it actually shows you. Okay, so it looks like it's not picking up tools for some reason. Let's see here. Which tools are available on the... Got something over my screen yet? On the... WordPress AI Showdown MCP server. Let's see what AI tells us. I can try the default server in a sec, that's no problem. I just want to see what this tells us quickly. Okay, let's try the default server then. Happy to give that a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back to the quick setup. Let's go to the default MCP server. Admins, that's great. Enable all abilities. Enable and continue. Let's go with MCP client. Claude Desktop. Let's do a new password. Okay, that's the desktop JSON. Oh, this is actually now it's giving me instructions. Instead of giving me the JSON, it's giving me instructions. So anyway, that's fine. Let's try that. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to pop in the new password and use default server. Oh no, now it's right. I don't know what happened there, but it was definitely giving me instructions earlier, so I might want to check that one out. So let's go back there. Okay, so it's MCP servers. That's the new password. That's the. Oh wait, I just had a thought. You know what it could be? I just had a thought. Just hang on a second. Just hang on a second. I just had a thought. I think I know what might be the problem. I think it might be my local studio install. Just give me 1 second here. Try to check something. Oh no, there is a permalinks set. It's not that. In earlier versions of Studio, you had to set permalinks, and I thought that might be causing problems with the REST API endpoint. Okay, let's go back here. So we've got that. Okay, don't need that one. Okay, so that's the default server. Save that. Let's restart Claude. Okay, so the default server is there. Good. Let's see what happens when we try and hook it up here. Still not showing up. Let's try this in the VS Code thing I was fiddling with earlier. Another. There we go. Okay, I know what this is. So this is not something that I would expect you to know, but let me show you something. Cross AI, I'm glad you're here because I want to show you this. And this is very specifically an MCP thing. Where's the? Hang on a sec. Let me just find MCP WordPress remote. And I have this snag every time I do demos, because I use custom local certificates. If you are configuring a site with a local certificate, you may need to add this kind of stuff to the certificates. I use this as a last resort in the ENV. So I would recommend checking out that section. I'll share the link in the chat now quickly. And maybe consider adding this to your documentation process or whatever. It's very specific to local development environments and local certificates. So if the person isn't using a local certificate on a local environment, this won't happen. But you might find now it'll work for me. And there we go, 3 tools. Okay, so that figures out why that was failing. Probably the custom server would have worked as well. I would have liked to have seen all the tools enabled for the MCP. It still looks like it's not registering all the abilities. I have to go and specifically decide which tools I want available. So I'd need to now find the tools that I want to enable, or at least the abilities that I want to enable as tools, and add them and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to stop there now. Like, it would be cool if there was a way where I could just say enable all the tools, just like I enabled all the abilities. So maybe have a look at that. Yes, definitely there is a limit to tools. I get that. So maybe Maybe an easier way to select them, because right now I need to, so what I can do is I can search for like post, update post, maybe. Yeah, this is an update post tool. Okay, let's add the update post and the update post meta. See, because what I need to do now is I need to know which tools, which abilities are tied to the work that I want to do. So post and post meta should manage. Let's go featured. That should work for featured image. Let's go. Let's go. Media, upload media, get media, list media. Yeah, I'm going to need to know which abilities I can use to do the task that I want to do with the MCP. So I do understand about the 50 tools thing. I would encourage you to consider creating tools that can execute any ability without the tool having to be registered. So if you have an ability that can call other abilities based on some information, do some reading around. There's a blog post that I found a while ago around building, I think they call it facades, MCP facades or something. But basically you create a tool that is like, for example, so I'll give you a good example. I think it's in our docs. So if you go to the WordPress.com developer docs, you'll see that in our available MCP tools list, the tools, yeah, strap facade tool. So a single MCP tool that wraps a family of related operations behind one entry point. So for example, we have a content authoring tool, and that can create, read, update, and delete any content. So that includes posts, pages, comments, media, categories, tags, block patterns, and search, content search. So it's one tool, but it can do multiple things depending on what information is sent to it. And because of the exact issue you were discussing about token size and tool limits and that kind of thing, because what I like about what you've built here is you have your abilities and your tools separated. And you could then create specific tools that enable that kind of functionality. So maybe consider something like that. I like the setup wizard. I like the fact that I can create a custom server. I like all of that. I like all of the options you give me. This is a very like pro user plugin, so I do like what I see. So maybe have a think about that tool option, because right now I need to go through all 266 available abilities and say this I want as a tool, and that I want as a tool, and that I want as a tool. Whereas if I could just say I want all tools, I want all abilities that allow me to add content, and it was available via one tool, or I want all abilities related to settings, and that's available via one tool. Maybe something to consider. So have a think about that. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's maybe one way to solve that issue. But cool. I like what I'm seeing so far. Good work. That's just the one piece of feedback I have there. I'm going to move on to the other plugin now because I'm running out of time. So I'm going to go back to here and deactivate these guys. You don't have to consider it. That's just one person's advice. I am not saying that you should do what I'm suggesting. It's just an option. So let's move on to Albert. I want to see how Albert works. Albert does a whole bunch of things as well. So let's go through the Albert process and see what Albert gives us. So let me open up my admin and install Albert. Okay, so there we go. So there's Albert. So I've got the plugin installed. Okay, so this is kind of like a little setup process. I've got to add an allowed user. I've got to connect an AI assistant. Looks like all of these things are already enabled. There are 16 abilities that look like they ship with Albert. These are also very sort of individual, but it's a smaller list. So let's go back to the dashboard. So now I guess we need to add an allowed user. So I'm going to say the local user. Okay, and then add this URL to your assistant as an MCP connector. Okay. So now we need to connect. Add this URL to Claude Desktop or ChatGPT as an MCP connector. Okay, let's see what that does. So let's go to Claude settings, connectors. Let's add a custom connector. Let's say Albert. Can't connect to that. Now what? So there's the documentation, which takes me straight to a search page. Well, the plugin is telling me it should work, so the plugin is wrong. I guess what you're trying to say is this would work if it was on a live site, but it should still work on a local site. If you're gonna build something, it should work everywhere, in my opinion. Otherwise, I mean, your plugin gave me local options. But I get what you're saying. They want it to be on a live site. I mean, if we think about that AI engine plugin that I reviewed last week, that worked on the local site. I wasn't using it on a live site, was I? I actually can't remember now. I'd have to go and check, but I feel like it was working on a local site. This is how I would test things. So I get why it doesn't work, but bad experience. Installing this for the first time, can't test it locally, can't move forward. So the winner today is Cross AI, just because I could actually get it to work. I could get it to set up, I could get it to connect and work with it that way. Feedback for Albert, have an option where I can configure this locally. I wonder if I did it myself manually, if it would work. Let's see. Let's see if this would work. Probably not, because I don't have the right user. Would be my guess. Yeah, that user is not allowed, even though I probably have that admin user. Let's generate a new application password. It's probably not using this. I know I'm being picky here, but I like to test things locally. And if I don't have a way to test your stuff locally, I can't give my opinion on it. I want to stick it on a site somewhere. So yeah, Albert's also a bit of a fail for me. Cool. So my top tip for today is give a Cross AI MCP Manager a shot. I like the fact that I can test it locally and do what I want. Just from today's thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my review, and I'm going to, I need to log in last. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a review, and I'm going to one to try out. Excellent. Great plugin to try out AI functionality. Worth giving it a shot. I'm not going to go any further than that just because I can't fully test the plugin, but I'm happy to give it a 5-star review based on my experiences today. It looks like a good option. As I say, the only things I would look at making easier for the user is how those MCP tools get enabled. Maybe if you want to leave the tools the way they are and you don't want to have like the facade style thing, the strap facade, having a way to group the tools together. So like all of the tools that create content or create posts or whatever, some easy way to like enable blocks of functionality as opposed to having to be very granular. That's another way to look at it. But I was impressed with everything I saw, so well done. If that is you on the chat, Deepak, good job. I look forward to exploring your plugin further. Yeah, great work. Cool. Mark Janssen, if you are ever watching this, please give me an option to test this locally. I wouldn't mind giving it a go. I'm not going to test this on a live site. I want to be able to test locally. So Mark, if you ever do see this, something to think about. And WP Vibe, I didn't like the fact that I have to go third party. I want to be able to do it locally as well, or just my own custom way. So that one was just a fail for me. Cool. So that was an hour. I'm glad that we were able to fill up the time. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. If you have any other plugins that you want me to check out, I've had a couple of people send me some plugins that they've built. A friend of mine, somebody that I know from a previous company I worked for, sent me their plugin. I'll review that probably in future weeks. So if you do have AI plugins that you want me to check out, please feel free to send them to me. I am on social media. I'm in various Slacks that are related to WordPress. So feel free to send them my way. I'm happy to give you my honest review, give you my feedback, and help you grow your plugin business and maybe give you a rating. I don't mind if a plugin works and is good and I have a good experience, I don't mind giving it a 5-star review and help it get some popularity and get some traction. All right. Thanks, AJ. That's going to be me for today, folks. I am going to be heading out. I hope you have a good rest of your week and your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.